And we're back!
Oh, for fuck's sake, Moonbar.
Welcome to the final part of week 12. I have no idea what just happened.
Jamie's not ready.
Oh, well, he's just drinking. He'll be fine. It's hydrating.
Good.
Stream holds for no man, other than me. Because
And everybody who doesn't put up the finger of readiness.
You're implying I was paying attention. I've had like 3 pints already this evening and not eaten yet. I'm amazed I could even done this well running this session.
Also, Key, your tweet is legend. Everybody go and like Geeky's tweet because...
Go follow my wonderful mods on Twitter.
Because you're welcome, bitch.
Anyway, we left off with a car, a bunch of guns, and a semi-naked woman throwing a rocket launcher into it saying, "You're welcome, bitches." Yeah, you've got an opening, Lux.
Yeah, I think Lux as it comes now, if everyone could keep their heads and arms inside the vehicle at all times, the ride will now continue again and float it.
Fantastic. So yeah, you wheel around, punch it, and the car's speeding away. A couple of your gorillas follow along. A couple of them holding back a little bit to just like throw, almost bodily like zombies back. You see like one of them literally rolls up, plucks one of the things that's clambering out of the snow out by the arm, like swings it round above its head, and just throws it into the crowd that are like pushing down this way, and like bowls them over. Then turns, starts following you. Yeah, and you open some distance, and this thick white fog looms ever closer in front of you. And you see like ice build up happening on the front of the windshield and things like that, and even in the face of your crazy upgrades to this car's heating systems. Yeah. You are approaching the center of London, team.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I remember my gorillas were probably not going to be able to cope in this way.
Yeah, I think a few of them are like, you get this feeling of just kind of hesitation coming through your like empathic network.
Cool. Yeah. No, I'm just going to order them to like basically hold here and keep our like escape clear.
They like scatter and start like climbing the buildings like nearby and like hunkering inside, and you feel like they're kind of their like awareness. At the same time, they're all like hunkering together and staying warm. But yeah,
I'd say even like move back a little bit where it's slightly warmer but then just keep the escape route clear.
They follow sensible instruction. But yeah, so yeah, before it's getting very close now. Just out of interest, what's the mood like in the car?
Hyped. Everyone is like, Chips just ran out the car, jumped back in with a rocket launcher. Stein's been flying out the car.
Midnight.
Lux has performed driving miracles.
I mean, Lux is probably is still a bit like miffed. Just like, why am I driving a bunch of fucking idiots? We're in a literal tank here, and people keep getting out of the tank. Stay inside the tank. But like, it's just kind of adrenaline pumped.
Yeah, you know. Okay, cool.
Confidence is unnecessarily high.
I don't feel we're like actually too scared, given that like that kind of went fairly well.
Yeah, things went a lot better than than maybe could reasonably be expected when you drive into a wall of bad guys. But yeah. You drove like a god. You had giant gorillas that tanked some hits for you, and bullshit psychic powers soaking up all this gunfire.
Ridiculous amounts of armor.
Yeah, and your psychic shield held off the consequences of Tudor's lapses in focus, and Midnight has crazy bullshit powers. Yeah, Midnight, your knee is fine again now, by the way. Like, it just fixes itself. Just, you know. Yeah, Stein, you're like getting short of breath. Stein, would you do me a favor and act under fire for me? Stein, old buddy or pal? Oh dear. Oh.
Doing it.
Okay, cool. Alright, on a 9, okay, yeah, you, like, you get this, like, pain and cold in your chest is growing, and you You feel okay. Like there's no more like fresh like oh god I'm gonna like vomit and die. But yeah, you feel like it becomes harder to grip your like psychic energies. So for some reason your camera just resized and pushed you out of frame.
Yeah, I don't know why it keeps doing that.
I just yeah. So like yeah, it's gonna take like extra effort for you to hold on to your psychic power than it would usually. So. Just like basically, what I'm saying is, you will also have to act under fire to use psychic abilities at the moment, because your soul is unspooling and it's painful and unpleasant. It would be like trying to run a marathon while bleeding from your legs, heavily. Cool. So yeah, anyone have any like? The wall is in front of you. Anyone have any last pithy words to say before you hit this wall of ice-cold fog?
Well, fuck, boys. Kind of it.
I'm trying to think of puns.
And Lux, obviously. Boys and Lux.
Yeah, I mean, it almost makes sense that like the cheery, light-hearted thing is just, and all that is left, all the rhetoric is gone in the face of this like ridiculous force the city threw at you. And there's just freezing cold, and you're just like, well, fuck.
There's snow turning back now.
No! God.
And with along your,
Going.
I think along your empathic link, you feel what is left of the humanity of your mutants go.
Now, I like the idea that we go into battle with a universal cringe of everybody involved.
Just everyone is like, oh god,
Just like
and
this
the
moment
car
of confidence
hits the like fog
and, like,
cloud.
fear goes to a moment of, for fuck's sake, the profanity.
Episode title there.
Snow turning back now.
Or you're welcome, bitches.
Yeah.
Is the episode title.
Yeah.
Or both. There's no turning back, ... You're welcome, bitch.
Yeah, the car hits the snow fog cloud at speed, and you power into it. And yeah, immediately like the windows start to like crack up with like freeze over, and it's the temperature inside noticeably drops to everyone but Tudor is feeling it now. And yeah, you power through, and you know, like, I think the weird next thing that's strange that happens is that the road levels out, and then you're driving on road, like tarmac. Even though this place is colder than anywhere else, there's no snow and there's no ice like visible. It's like driving through a fog cloud, like in the normal world. You're driving on regular concrete, which might be the first you've ever seen like a road. Weirdly. I imagine your handling is struggling a tad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you there's probably a contingency plan built into the Kramermobile by Stein for this. Like,
I mean, all-terrain vehicles can also drive on normal roads.
yeah, they're all terrain. That includes the non-hazardous terrain. Yeah, yeah. So it's just a very strange experience, I think.
So I turn and it turns. What is this? Man.
And then you drive through this for a little while, and then you come through, and suddenly you're in bright blue sunshine, and there's this just hole. It's the eye of the storm, as it were. This hole of just, and above, glorious blue sky and sunshine like you've never seen before in your lives. And this shaft of sunlight comes down, illuminating the kind of decrepit-looking remnants of one Buckingham Palace. And I think, Tudor, you look at it and immediately recognize it as it was the palace in your dream world that you ruled from, and it's the palace that you go to whenever you used to go to when you used your psychic powers. Nowadays it's warped and gothic, but this is the real world reflection of your psychic domain. Bathed in this, like, far more decrepit, but bathed in a light you've never seen before, understood before. Something so natural in such an unnatural place. Yeah. And you slowly pull towards it.
Well,
Nice here, right?
I like being able to see. It makes driving a lot easier.
So this is what summer looks like.
That's such a mythical thing.
Yeah. Pretty good. We should set a base in here. Like, we ain't gonna have any trouble from outside.
I mean, only us four could survive here, and Stein's not got long, but still.
I know. Is it still freezing cold here?
It's definitely still chilly.
Okay.
Outside, yeah, it's not a comfortable temperature outside. It's warmer than it was in probably the first like 2 zones of the storm,
Yeah.
but it's still pretty cold.
Isn't that just like English weather in general?
Yeah.
You just sort of feel like an English winter day or something.
Yeah, imagine that you'd walked into the English winter if what English people were adapted to was living in Siberia, and what you just went through was living in cold Siberia. Yeah, so you drive up to like the gates of Buckingham Palace, and I think there's literally 2 guards just standing there, like frozen in place. But unlike the others, there's no like ice on them or anything like that. They're just frozen in place with the big tall hats and everything. And yeah, you just kind of drive up and nudge the gate, and it just like swings open.
I think I double tapped the 2 guards as well.
Fair enough. just like the windows go down, and like you just lean out with your 9mm, and the ray gun comes out the other side and just blows their heads off. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah, they just like shatter and drop.
Just be on the safe side here.
Hey,
Always double tap.
Yeah, you pull in and you pull up the drive of Buckingham Palace. Yeah.
Cool.
You're at the palace doors. What do you
I'm
do,
very much
team?
looking to Tudor here. It's like, this is your fucking place.
Well, guys, I think we're going to need to perform some home improvements. I reckon we make a bigger door for a start.
Sure. And gun towards the house.
So fuck getting out of the car and walking in. You're gonna blow. Yeah, sure. You can just do that. You just blow the crap out of like a nice sized archway in the door of Buckingham Palace.
Yeah. Drive up into the main. The big grand staircase.
How do you know where you're going, team? Or are you just gonna drive around until you find something?
Don't I know? If it's presumably the mirror image of my mind one, I surely know where to go.
Yeah, but like you didn't really ever get the chance to explore that, and like.
But I'm surely just gonna head to the throne room.
Fair, that's fine. I just wanted to know. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we'll demolish our way to the throne room.
That is probably on the first floor.
Yeah, no, that you can. I think you can get there in the car.
I don't
know the layout of Buckingham Palace, so I'm not gonna. But
yeah. We drive up the big grand ball stair. It's an auto vehicle, right? It's just like.
Yeah,
it's so dumb. It's like a GTA. If you're in GTA or something, just driving upstairs.
Yeah, Buckingham Palace, the way it was meant to be seen.
Yeah. You pull into the throne room, and yeah, like I think at this point, every one of you who's ever been in any of Tudor's augury rituals or had used his psychic powers, you will recognize this room. You've been here in the trances he induces with his psychic powers. It's less shiny, but it's the same. And yeah, the center of it is the throne, Tudor. And I think sitting in it is another like hanging kind of above it is a sheet of like a snowdrift almost, which reminds you haven't really seen any snow in here yet. Just kind of above this, like, hovering slightly off the throne. Just this sheet of snow.
Shoot the snow?
No. Drop the ceiling.
Drop the ceiling.
She was like, you're like, level, like, leaning out to point your gun. He's like, no.
We drop the ceiling on top of the throne.
Okay, yeah. You hammer a grenade into the ceiling above it, falls down on top of it. I think a voice booms in all of your minds. Did you come here only to desecrate our home?
Well, we thought we had to provide some return for the damage you inflicted.
We gave you everything, Tudor. Your entire life was made by us, and this is how you repay us? Return to us with... it kind of like, I think, just a small eddy, like, around of, it's like, tantrums. We did not
How
believe
else?
you to be so
How else
childish.
will the errant son greet the long lost arrogant parents?
I think there's like a really dry chuckle, like completely devoid of humor. It's just like, you made a joke. Well done. Ha. And yeah, it goes, very well. If you wish to see where this begins and where this ends, come. And yeah, like you see kind of a backdraft almost get sucked into the wall at the back of the room. And I think Tudor, outlining your little like weird semi-psychic vision of the world, you see like this kind of silverish light and an outline of a doorway. That to anyone else just looks like a regular wall. Like the size of a normal person, and as opposed to say something you could fit a car in. Just so you're aware.
Then,
Hi.
yeah. Also, would I be able to open up? I don't know if like was the Joe's side of the Judith's side of the conversation audible to everyone?
I think so. Yeah.
Could I? Am I able to open up a secret line? Like, can I open up a non?
You can open your brain to the psychic maelstrom and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's as best. That's the best I think I can offer you in this situation.
Okay, which is. Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are you exactly? You're trying to contact?
I'm trying
Empire?
to communicate with Empire without everyone else being able to know that I'm communicating with Empire.
Okay, yeah, I think you can manage that with the 12. Yeah, so your senses flare and you realize that like Empire isn't in a place here; it's literally all around you.
Okay, yeah,
Just think.
that's fine. I'm just like, I'm here because I want my town back. I'm willing to negotiate for my town back.
This is so turning into the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I think I think you
I'm here to reclaim my town.
I think
I'm
at
here
the
to
moment it's
get
met
a
with silence,
heart.
but it's not like you're being cut off. There's like ponderous at the moment because I literally need to think about how that plays out.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, feel
Yeah.
free to Lux can just be like, oh, well, that didn't work. Well, whatever.
Yeah, I think Lux doesn't get the impression that it didn't listen. I think it gets the impression that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. Keep going then. I just wanted to
Yeah,
get
so-
that in there. So.
Yeah, Tudor. What? You can see this outlined doorway. And what about the other two of you? Are you guys doing anything, or are you like, hell, giant freaky voices in the sky? Midnight. Stein looks like shit. He's like feverish, even under his layers, and even this temperature. He's like he seems kind of short of breath. Yeah, just so you know. I think Midnight pays. If Midnight's slightly more open emotional capacity notices that, if nothing else. Yeah, what are you two doing? Just so I have an image.
Trying to breathe.
Yeah, just yeah. Midnight.
Midnight's just making herself very much aware of her surroundings more than anything.
Okay.
Oh, can I read the situation?
I don't think there's anything necessarily. How is it charged?
There's a booming voice.
Yeah, but the voice kind of went, "Come in then," and vanished. It's like this is just a room. It's a weird room, but there's nothing. There's no real charge to this situation that I can think of.
Well, I'm dying.
Yes, but that's not a charge. That's like you don't call a charge situation where it's like I have an incurable disease. Now every situation in my life is tense.
I'm constantly stressed.
I mean, you might be,
dying.
but that's not the relevant part here. Yeah. Tudor.
Okay, I get out of the car. And as I walk towards the portal, I loudly proclaim, I will enter, but you're going to need to stabilize Stein first. And then sit down in the middle of the floor. because, you know, I'm playing this petulant child thing for all it's worth.
I think you get no answer.
So I wait.
The voice doesn't care. Empire is like willing to kill your friend to just get you here. Like,
Stein at this point decides to actually get out of the car, and he sort of uses the car as support to get around to the boot and unloads the adapter engine that goes with the Miracle engine.
Yeah.
That's been powering the car, and he just sits by Tudor. He's just like, "Cheers, bud."
Cool.
Okay, at that point I turn back to him and goes, okay, if I'm not back, if things start to change, you know what to do. And just walk into the portal.
I mean, it's less a portal, it's more just a bit of wall, and as you put your hand against it, like, this outline appears for the rest of you to see, and this wall, like, shifts back and then opens, and in front of you is this, like, very much physical, material, real world staircase down through solid concrete going down into, like, this dark room. And I think the next thing that happens is, like, electric, like, fluorescent lighting starts coming on, leading downwards. It looks like that staircase that's in every multi-story car park at 2 a.m. where you're like, I'm gonna get murdered.
Okay, I take one step in and then look back, poke my head round and go, anyone fancy a trip?
Stein immediately gets up and follows.
Team lady,
Um,
you guys along for the ride?
I think like I'll take the rear guard after you, Midnight.
Yeah, I think you get a feedback thing just going in your mind. Come.
I'll leave. I won't make my seduce manipulate in my car. I'll leave my car
Yeah.
and start going downstairs.
Yeah. Midnight?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I still say I'll do the rear guard.
Yeah, I think this is kind of one of the, like, this is where we've gotten this far together. Midnight, are you like joining the foray?
Oh, definitely. But, you know, she makes a very clear point of picking up an AK-47 along with the rocket launcher and just...
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Coming, guys! Right behind you.
Yeah,
The rest of you carrying, like, yeah.
machine gun slung over my thing and cradling it.
So we proceed Mines of Moria style hurry down these stairs.
Yeah, cool.
A kind of...
It's like, the rest of them are all
Watching
carrying all
every
these
step.
things. Like, I think what we see in the next is just, in very practical fashion, we just hear crack, and a green glow stick lights up in Tudor's hands as he's, like, illuminating, like, the darker parts of this, because it's still crappy lighting, and only every third one works after years of neglect. And yeah, you come down to this, I think you come down to this, like, large, kind of vault-looking door, and, like, these lights come on, and then it's like, a voice goes, identify yourself.
Tudor.
Matching voice patterns. This goes, 25% match. Re-verifying. And, like, this panel, like, slides out of the wall and goes, please place your hand on the panel.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so you put your hand in it and you feel a sharp sting in your fingertips, and, like, shake it off, and, like, tiny needles basically just jab you in the fingers and take a small blood sample.
Oh, very blade.
And yeah, the voice goes again. Running test samples. 98% DNA match. Welcome back. And the door, like, slides open. Actually, no, grinds open. Like, this huge ass door slowly moves away, and lights come on in this room, and you see banks and banks and banks of computers, and, like, some of them try, like, flicker on. Most of them are dead. And in the center of this room, that, like, lights up like a Christmas tree in your psychic vision, is the machine, like, similar to the machine back in Wintermute, but huge. And there's way more to it. Like, in the psychic realm, it's massive in comparison.
Okay, before we all go in, I drop my psi bomb and kick it into the middle of the room.
Your pain wave projector thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you see it, like, go, and, like, the kind of it may be overlaid in your vision, like the kind of the sound waves of like gothic chimes coming off of it, and like you see light peel off of the machine and just smothers it.
I just kind of nod approvingly and
it goes,
kind of like, as I expected.
Yeah, it's like, and I think this voice kind of booms out. It's like, this is where it all began and where it all ends. Return to us, Tudor. Free us. We take this world. We claim it. In the name of Empire. And again, like in here, that the voice that sounded like felt like kind of sleet hitting you in the face. It's like brain freeze, but it shivers down your spine with every single word. It's you feel it clawing at the inside of your skull. It's horrible.
So is it like one main computer?
There's a working terminal you can look at if you want to.
Okay, I go and place my hand on it.
Yeah, I think these are all like regular enough computers. They wake up. Yeah, you just see across the top of it Project Excalibur.
Really?
It's British.
So more information then.
Yeah, I think you get like... So I think you start pulling up files and goes... We were designed originally as a weapon of last resort. Something that could fight people without fighting places. Bombs became inefficient. But it was... They decided they wanted a scalpel rather than an explosion. They got a sword. They got us. Then, and like, the monitor flickers and like shows you like assorted videos of like volcanic eruptions kicking huge amounts of ash into the air and stuff like that. It's like, then the event happened. The world started to collapse. People died in their droves. And we pulled them in. As we have continued to pull them in. That little pathetic engine that the research Dr. Tessier so boldly claims is magnum opus. That is nothing. Your little town is but an appetizer. Billions of people died in one day, Tudor. Think of all that power. That is what we are.
So in like my psychic vision, can I see like a kind of focal point?
Yeah, like, this thing is just a hovering mass of power, like, unlike anything you've ever seen before. This knife that you're carrying might be, like, is comparable in maybe radiance, but, like, is a fraction of the size.
So it's like, it's not tethered to anything in particular?
It's contained within this machine, I think. There is, like, a sort of thing, it is bound to this location. Yeah. I think it's... I think maybe something that appears in the window and just goes... and like, it's, I don't know... A protocol lake. And like, a kind of Y/N confirmation thing.
I kind of look over to kind of beckon Stein forward. Is it kind of looking kind of like computers? They're doing weird things.
Yeah. Stein, what do you do?
So yeah, I moved towards the terminal and I just asked, what am I looking at here? Sorry, I zoned out a little bit.
Yeah, so you've got like a computer in front of you. This voice has been kind of like speaking out loud, going, yeah, like, I ate the souls of most of the people who died, and they're now my like power. Because the apocalypse happened and billions of people died, and I just ate them all. And now I'm a demigod. Yeah, on this computer screen, there was like images of the apocalypse happening, just massive volcanic eruptions, like ash being scattered into the air, freezing the world and all that shit. Like the apocalypse was relatively natural. This thing being this powerful was a never before seen byproduct of that.
Do we have a name for this power?
I mean, well, the power is Empire. Like, it gained a will
okay,
by
this
basically,
is a description of Empire.
Yeah, it's like, it gained a kind of cohesive will off of the back of, like, the few hundred souls in charge of several billion. And yeah, that's why it calls itself an empire, because yeah, it's in charge of like the world's population.
Okay.
This thing is called Project Excalibur, and on the screen you've got a little message saying like a pop saying the lake protocol : lake, and then like a Y/N. Yeah.
So prompt that we'd want to pass yes or no to lake. We're actually gonna go and press an N key or whatever it is to negate that prompt.
Yeah, I mean, bear in mind you can also like you have your moves like things speak and stuff like that. So if you want to try and research, yeah, it's. I think you got to hit N, and like the screen flickers, and Empire's voice booms to the room again and goes, "Really? Must we play this game?"
Okay, is there any way to do a more thorough search into information about Empire specifically from this terminal? Like status, things like that?
You could definitely roll, like, I mean, ThingSpeak is definitely like the investigate the kind of memories of it and all that jazz. As for, like, just literally data mining it, I guess you can try and, like, give me a sharp roll, I
literally
guess.
just data mining it at this point because there's no relevant questions to ask with ThingSpeak because I'm not trying to read the machine, I just want information.
I mean, reading the memories of the people who've used it might be the more the use for ThingSpeak. But yeah, you can definitely try and, like, sharp it with your brain. Give it a go. Alright, I'll give you one piece of information then. The Lake Protocol is apparently a preliminary thing of it was, so you've pulled up like a, more info please, more info please. Like, it's, the system has been locked into a certain set of functionalities. You manage to find the little gap that will tell you what it does, and it's like, you get one video of, the Lake Protocol Trial, 00, and you see, like, a video image opens up, and, like, just in front of this, there's a little platform, and you see, like, a machine has kind of, like, rising up out of the center of the platform, and this, this guy, just kind of looks like he's nowhere near as pale as any of you, like, taller, better nourished, generally, like, in good shape, goes up and, like, he stands underneath it, and some guys in white lab coats come over and they, like, put one of those kind of, like, headsets on him, the same as yours. They put, like, a sort of, like, patches and things all over his chest, which you recognize, like, oh, there's heart monitors and all this chat, because your knowledge of medical machines, and a whole bunch of stuff you've never seen before in your life. And yeah, and then it's like trial begins, and you see him kind of hold there for a while and looks kind of confused. It kind of gives like the camera a shrug and like a smile, which is when the camera sees like he's got his nose starts bleeding, and then he collapses. And he goes, and I think Empire's voice booms back through again. Those powered of old were really nothing, children in comparison to what can be crafted in today's nurturing environment. Tudor was our finest creation. By our calculations, someone who could take the burden of our power for a moment. And that is all we need, a moment. Some way to escape this little cage.
Okay, so starting to...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, it just kind of, I think that's where it leaves it.
Okay, yeah, so Stein turns to the rest and says, okay, from my experience with this everything here seems to be systematic, as in everything is just an experiment, a process, a system. And with every system, there's always an abort strategy somewhere. So within ThingSpeak, there's a question which is, what's wrong with this and how might I fix it? Can I specify that actually I want to turn that on its head? How do I break it? Instead of how do I fix this, how do I shut it down?
You could just do the opposite to what it wants.
Yeah, so your fixing of it is you want to fix it so that it never works ever again. Yeah. You can definitely try that. That requires like, because this thing is extended beyond mere machine now.
Almost 7.
Okay. And act under fire for me as well, please, because you're using psychic powers in this place.
What is it with sevens?
It's
It is giving me XP, but you know.
Okay. So your thing speak gives you 1 question, I believe.
Which is all he needs.
So yeah, that's all you wanted. So yeah, I think it's Oh, how does one break this machine?
Or just abort all system processes.
Yeah, I think you realize that mechanically this thing is almost defunct. Like it doesn't really have like proper. There's the machine parts of it have almost failed. It's now just kind of, it's some kind of strange core made of something you've never seen before, that binds this thing in place, and they need Tudor to kind of override it somehow. That's what this Lake Protocol thing does. And they think that his brain is physically capable of doing that, of wielding their power through it as like a kind of that will somehow make it work. Kind of you work on this weird basis with this sort of stuff, but so the mechanical stuff is kind of beyond you at this stage. Shutting it down, it's a similar process of you have to kind of turn the to kill Empire requires you to basically turn it in on itself. It's a being made of pure like soul energy. You just need to kind of wield its power against itself for a moment. It's kind of a case of whose will wins out.
So sort of the equivalent of giving it a paradox, but
Yeah,
making it actually.
The thing is, if Tudor can almost overpower it, or maybe there's like this knife also might provide some kind of like. I think the knife registers in your psychic senses as something that's not necessarily expected.
What would happen if we stabbed the bomb? Would
So
just everything die.
So by
Empire?
the bomb being the thing that Stein
Jamie's
used.
thing.
Yeah, so that is one of these augury headsets wired up to that crazy engine. He basically just jacked 1 billion volts of electricity through a psychic amplifier and his own brain.
Yeah, like the actual sort of like fire extinguisher sized adapter thing is kind of like the amplifier. You've got the miracle engine, which is what Stein's been using to power the McCrae-mobile. You've got the headset to sort of channel the energy, or attempt to in any
Could
case.
we get Stein to have the mystery machine plugged into him and into the computer to pulse psychic energy into it while I try and draw psychic energy into the knife?
Sure, I guess. Yeah, if you want to try and like
probably gonna
push
try
it
at some point and be like, we also need to get all the people's souls back
Okay,
into their
Skype just
bodies.
farted. I caught none of that.
Tudor is suggesting routes to like kind of basically siphon it off into the knife bit by bit by bit, and Lux is saying, Lux,
We need to find a way to, whilst killing it, to get all the people back, if we can.
Well, if I can siphon them into the knife, then we just need to get them out the knife.
Yes.
That sounds okay.
Which is easier
Right.
than getting them out of this bloody transient being.
I have an alternative,
Probably.
and it is a gamble. This all really started when I plugged this thing in for the first time. Emotions were high. We're not going to talk about it too much, but essentially, we are in a keystone place here. I'm going to die any day now. I am more than willing. If you guys are willing to lose this place physically, I'm more than happy to plug back in and recreate the events in this location and destroy everything here.
Are we sure that will work? And not just let Empire siphon off the explosion and get even more power?
I mean, at this stage, with that level of power,
the
Stein.
only person that interfered.
I was going to say, with that level of power. I keep kind of.
Jamie's really jittery on my end. I can't hear him.
Same. I can't hear a word.
Yeah, I've kind of lost him too.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, but you're frozen
Can you
on
hear me?
the camera.
Okay, sorry.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. The last time, the only thing that in a constant struggle for power with Rachel. Rachel is no longer a thing.
But Rachel's just
The ability to
She's
set
one
things
person.
straight. Sorry, you broke up a little bit there.
I mean, I was just gonna say, like, so it strikes you maybe, Stein, that like the part that it seems to need most of all is a physical body capable of wielding that much psychic energy, and like you by accident might be just about capable of doing that. It might not be as yeah, so it might not be as comfortable for you as Tudor. You aren't a purpose-designed tool, but with a push, and it might be able to use you just as easily.
Okay, this is probably wise though, because we've established that Empire wants Tudor. It doesn't want the rest of us. If it does use me as a vessel, it's got 2 days tops.
instead it only wants to use my mind for a moment. So I don't think your impeding death would really impact it.
Do you really believe that though?
Lux, I think in your mind very briefly, you get a message going, they don't care about your people. Give us Tudor. We will give them back to you. We will give you a perfect world. A world where you can be accepted as you so desperately wanted. We can give that to you, with all of them. Even with these 3. Give us Tudor. Kill the others, or keep them alive, we don't care. They will be with you in the next time.
Cool.
next
Can I read him?
Yes. Yes. I would say read with your weird, but your psychic senses and regular senses are
equally as good.
yeah, so they're the same at this point. You've honed into one thing. Your brain is as fine-tuned an instrument as your ears.
It's a partial success, so I get to ask one question.
I imagine there's a specific question you want to ask.
Are they telling the truth?
They didn't lie. Yeah. They said they can give you your perfect world. They can. And they don't necessarily... And they might. I think they would if you did this for them.
Okay. Yeah, because just saying that they could. I have no doubt that they could.
Yeah, I think the inclination is that they fully intend to do that.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
And I think Midnight as well. You get one last like the wind like blows past your ear, and this soft whisper just kind of goes, "Last chance."